Thanks for joining me. I'm Christy Reese, and today I'm going to show you how to assign IEPs in Moby Max. This video is going to have three parts. The first part, of course, is assigning IEPs. An IEP is an individualized education plan. The second part is going to be progress monitoring, how to see that data that you have collected on your students. And then thirdly, how to do a skills checker. So if needed, you can have your student do a skills checker so that you can progress monitor any time of the year. Let's assign IEP goals in Moby Max. I've opened up the teacher view in Moby Max, and I'm clicking on IEP goals on the left-hand side. You can see that you can choose goals for math, language arts, and also reading, literature, and informational. For our purposes today, I'm going to choose math. On the right-hand side, a large button, Assign IEP Goals. I've created a sample group of sample students 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 so that all of my students' names are not shown. So here I'm just going to select the student that I want to assign the goal. You can select multiple students at once, but chances are each student has individual goals. So you may have one or two students that may have the same goal, but many times students have different goals. So you're going to choose the student's name and choose Next. And then, as you can see, for me, because I live in Louisiana, the Louisiana Student Standards for Math comes up. And then I'll move down and choose the grade level, and I'm going to choose grade 5. And you can see that the standard areas are already populated for you. I'm going to choose the number and operations fractions. And for this student, the data showed that they had a need area for number and operations fractions, add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. So it gives you the exact standard, Louisiana State Standard. So I can choose that standard. You could choose multiple ones here if the student has additional standards that are aligned there. And we'll choose Next. You can assign a time that the student will be given per day. And we choose Next again. And then this is the nice part. I'm going to select the date range for the IEP. So for example, if I just had the IEP today and I want to start it, let's say on Monday, and I'm going to run all the way to the end of the school year till maybe May 16th, not a lot of time left. I can do that, and of course I can change the month here and the date and everything, and they have a lot of options here, but it's really nice to be able to choose that right when that IEP is actually going to begin. I'm going to choose Save and Apply. You can see the date range for the IEP, and then you click Save. Now let's look at progress monitoring. To look at the progress monitoring of those goals that you've set, I'm going to show you how to do that by going back to the Curriculum tab in the Teacher View, and then go back to IEP Goals, and then choose the subject area where you set the goals. So we set them in Math, so I'm going to choose Math, and I'm going to choose my sample group. You can see your IEP goals either by student, and you can see here that I've assigned a couple of different goals to students 1, 2, and 3. Or I can see them by IEPs, and this is the date range. So if maybe I have one that started at a different date range, maybe at the beginning of the school year, then I can view that, something that would be more current or something that's in the past I want to check up on. After clicking on a student name, I can see that IEP goal for the student and progress monitor that particular goal or goals. I can see this particular student with the date assigned in September has met his goal in February at 100%. In another example of progress monitoring, I can see this student's goals, there are 3 of them. He has had 3 goals assigned, 1 in September and 2 in December, and has either not had enough opportunity to practice the skills, or has not been able to attain proficiency. And finally, let's assign a skills checker. So back at our Moby Max screen, there's a couple of choices that you have as far as assigning skills that you want to test on. So over here on the left side, we're not going to go to IEP goals again. What we're going to do is we can either choose assignable skills, and you can see as I chose that, certain things came up on the right side. That is what is available under assignable skills. Back to the left side here, the other choice could be, for example, a skill checker. Now, when I choose skill checker, notice that there's less available, only mathematics, language, and foundational reading, which is more for younger elementary students, and it's not what I want if I was looking for reading skills and literature that are not available under that particular assessment. So I typically use assignable skills, and then I'll go to math, and I'll choose assign new skill. And I can choose Moby Max curriculum, skills created by teachers, or create your own. Here I can choose the grade level. And at this point, you really have to remember what standard you assign that student, because you're going to see all of them here. Now on the right side, it shows you scope and sequence, but I want to choose standards. And it's going to pull up the Louisiana State Standards, or whatever standard is for your state. And I know that for this particular student, I chose fractions, and it was this first one, add and subtract fractions. I can choose that skill, and then I can choose the student that I want that is going to be tested. And again, you could choose multiple here, but typically you're going to be choosing one at a time. Assignment name, I like to put kind of some fun things in. So for example, I would put the student's name and choose IEP goal check. So when they go to Moby Max, they're going to see their name. And you can kind of come up with some fun names if you want to get their attention. You can set a due date. So for example, if I know an IEP is coming up and I want that data, I might want to set it so that the student has a due date of the 4th, which would be this Friday. And it shows right now, and I'm going to assign it. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on assigning IEPs in Moby Max. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.